Welcome to the Catalyst for Growth podcast, a place where we talk about everything under the sun regarding the journey of the professional salesperson. Welcome the host of the C4G Sales Success podcast, John Kailunas II. Take it away, big guy.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is John Kailunas II. You're listening to another podcast, Sales Success with C4G. Today we got Carlos Guzman from San Dimas, California, and we're in the Vegas Content Studios in lovely Sin City. So we come out here, love to do a lot of broadcasts. They take care of us. If you're looking to do a podcast, you should come see the people here at Vegas Content. So welcome back, buddy.
All right, man. It's good to be here.
We've had a couple of these, and they're always fun, man. I enjoy our relationship, and I enjoy that you're taking time out of from your family and your business to come and spread your knowledge and wisdom with others that are listening.
You're welcome, man. It's always good to see you.
All right, so let's tell everybody a little bit about your history. You've been with Regal for about 6 years.
Yeah,
6 years.
That.
Been in the industry 8 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
You came to us through an insurance marketing organization that we did work with, a lot of joint work, and still do. And they were putting together a program to help with marketing and education and presenting and stuff. And we were one of the education partners. We were the partner on the broker-dealer RIA side. So, and we just sort of built a relationship. You came up to a training session and jumped in my car and wouldn't leave. And I had to drive you around town. So you sort of kidnapped me, but it's been a great relationship. And when you came, you didn't have much of a business. And I'm not saying that to be disrespectful. It's just you were starting off.
It's the truth.
And so we gave you a lot of tough love and gave you a lot of direction and just kept pouring. And you asked so many questions. And we just kept pouring things back. But the one thing I got to say is the questions you asked, even if they were simple or complex, depending on what the nature was, you listened, and you listened well, and we didn't have to. You absorbed the information. You're smart. You absorbed the information, and you applied it, and you got better. And that's what this whole podcast. This is why I want you on here, is because everybody is sitting in their car or their office and thinking, "I've got a marketing problem. I've got a compliance problem. I got this or that. How do I get help?" And you've got people like, Kevin Burwell and myself that started this company along with my wife, that it's a consulting company. We can help you. And you were a perfect example of that because you came sort of broken.
Yep.
And tell your story a little bit.
Yeah, just being, insurance only, from 05 through 16-ish, around there, and then getting my Series 65, and I think it was 16. I don't remember the year. But 2 years with a previous RIA, learned absolutely nothing, literally nothing. I don't even think I knew how to fill out an application correctly. Then got to that program and met you guys, and really only had under $1 million in management. And then just started showing up, man, and listening to all the trainings, taking notes, applying what you guys were saying. One of the things that I think I do naturally, or one of my gifts, is not to recreate the wheel. I know this works because it's been proven. You guys have done it. So why am I going to try to recreate and put my own twist in it and change it up? It's like I just followed what I was being told to do, and why. Not like a robot, but it was really,
there's
this
a
is
couple
why.
This is real interesting you hit on that because, sometimes you need to create the wheel, right?
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of times it's done out of vanity to create the wheel. When you're basically putting a different color scheme on it and changing a couple words, it's not a different wheel.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of advisors that go independent, and bear with me here, I think a lot of them that go independent would rather be working on a process or working on their brochures or working on their website than actually calling and working with clients, because the website never rejects you. The process never rejects you, or your brochure never rejects you. And they're always working to get that perfect brochure. And it's a great example of where good is good enough and perfection is the enemy of good.
Yeah.
Right. And I think we see a lot of advisors that are spinning their wheels, and it's like, how many referrals did you get this week? Well, none. I've been working on my brochure. I'm working on my digital marketing campaign. Well, first of all, you shouldn't be. You should outsource that, because that's not what you do. That's not, and that's what your skill is digital marketing. Then don't be a financial advisor. Be a digital marketer. You can make a fortune.
Yep.
Right? Do things that you're good at. Outsource the things you're not. And you embraced all of that. You embrace all that. We didn't force that. I mean, we have people at our shop that hang their own shingle, and that's fine by us. We run in the back.
What do you mean by hang your own shingle?
It would be like Guzman Wealth Management.
Yeah. That
So,
reminds me of the Bugs Bunny, man. Left field, Bugs Bunny. Right field, Bugs Bunny. Center field, Bugs Bunny.
funny.
First base, Bugs Bunny. It's like, dude. Yeah, okay, I'm not Bugs Bunny, man. I can't do it. Anyway, I'm sorry.
You threw me off with Bugs Bunny, and I'm a Bugs Bunny fan too. So, I think we get too much in our head, and I think and I'm saying this overall with advisors, you start believing your own bullshit, and when you do, it really stops you from growing. Either you hit a pinnacle and you start believing your own bullshit, and then things crumble, or you believe your own bullshit and you never get anywhere because you're so constantly overthinking everything and trying to recreate everything. It's taken Regal 25 years to get where we're at, right? 25 is, 225 is our 25th anniversary. To recreate everything we have, good luck.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll give you everything. I mean, I truly believe you get more when you give more. So We'll give you everything. We'll give you our secret sauce.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, I know that there's people that don't want to work that hard.
Yeah.
And if they do want to work hard like yourself, I want them on the team. I want them with me. I want people that are passionate about taking care of others, because when you are, good things happen, man.
Damn, that's a lot to break down.
Hey, that's why I'm a host of the page. That's why I'm a host here, man.
Yeah, working hard. So that's part of it. It's also working smart, right? Because we can work hard and freaking recreate the wheel, and it's like
that I've said this line to you before. Activity doesn't equal achievement.
Nope.
And there's so many times I've worked on projects and I've run around in circles, and I've gotten nowhere with it.
Yeah.
And I've got to I got a file on my computer now. I just throw that idea in there. Maybe it's a mental block. Maybe it's just a bad idea. And because I'm one of the owners, no one says it's a bad idea, right? So I just throw it in this file, because you can kill yourself. You can waste months working on projects that just go nowhere.
Yeah, it's, the working smarter, working on things and outsourcing the things that you're not an expert on, you don't master. Not only that, the stuff that drains your energy, man. Like being that's where I get most of my juice, right?
Excuse me.
I enjoy one-on-ones. I enjoy face-to-face with the clients. That gives me energy. I enjoy presenting in seminar. That gives me energy. I hate doing paperwork. I hate doing marketing, like all the little things that you have to put in order. That zaps me. Bookkeeping zaps me. All of that stuff.
I hate bookkeeping.
Right?
Hate it.
And so if you can get that stuff off your plate, let someone else do it. The branding, the marketing, all of that crap. You're going to be just better, even though you're going to be working hard, but it's not going to be working hard necessarily because you're doing what gives you energy, what you enjoy. Or the working hard to me feels like the weekends of doing, which I used to do when I first came to Regal, Saturday and Sunday, catching up with all the marketing, with all the other crap, instead of having other people take care of it and help me with it.
I think probably most of our calls are on Saturdays and Sundays. Or in the evenings. Well, in the evenings because you're on the West Coast. But we have a ton of calls Saturdays and Sundays.
Yep.
And it's not out of line that the phone will ring and we might be talking about a fight or something. So why did you, and I know the answer, but for the listening audience, you use the lion's share outsource investments. Why do you do that?
I'd be a fool to think I'm as smart as somebody who does that full time. And still be an advisor that meets with clients, reviews, does paper. There is no way that I'm going to be better than any one of the fund managers.
Why do advisors think, and there's a ton of our advisors, why do they think they're money managers and that's the value they add to the client?
Maybe it's ego. Maybe it's greed. Maybe they don't want to pay the extra whatever to the money manager. They want to keep it in-house.
They get passed on to the client, right?
Yeah, I think it's a combination, maybe greed, ego, wanting to control and not trusting others. Yeah, I don't know.
It's just, when you look at that, right, when it's just a flawed way of thinking, because if they're not doing something special, right, they're never going to be able to get any type of scale because they've got to be managing money every minute the market's open.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're just doing preset models, right, Vanguard does that.
I was going to say, why would you even
Vanguard
go to
does
him?
that, and the client can go direct.
Yeah.
So you're racing yourself. You're putting yourself in a race, and you're forcing yourself to the bottom.
Yep.
Client expectations go up, margins are going down.
Yep.
So I think the true value that we bring is planning and protecting the client from themselves, the behavioral aspects of finance.
Yeah, I had one client, and I'll go back. I was new, 2020, COVID hits. One of our clients, one of the portfolios went south quick. A lot of them did. And I remember this is one of the awesome things about Regal. When I had gone to one of the trainings, the initial trainings, spoken with the different fund managers, one of the accessibility to the fund managers that we have as reps. That
we put them directly. There's one-on-ones. So
one-on-ones.
You're not hearing from a regional distribution specialist. You're talking to the money manager and why he or she's making trades.
That alone, dude, changes the game. As far, especially on the knowledge side, confidence side.
And you know why it changes the game, in my humble opinion? I learned this in kindergarten. And when I tell you this, you'll start laughing. The game of telephone. You sat in kindergarten, remember you sat in a circle, right?
Yep.
And you go around in a red fire truck and little Jimmy tells Sally and Susie and it goes all the way around and it comes up being a pink palm tree. It has nothing, has nothing to do with it. Yeah. And I'm thinking like you've got all these people in a chain of command in a mutual fund or an SMA strategy, right? A money management. Yep. And they're communicating down and down. And guess what? It's going to end up being a pink palm tree.
Yep.
When it's a red fire truck. So we took all that out. We stripped all that out. And I think that is very powerful in our distribution.
I think it's awesome. So on two ways, it's awesome. One, because you're talking to the guy or girl. You're talking to the person who's making those changes, right?
Or who's going to make those changes.
Going to.
So you can tell your client ahead of time that, hey, listen, we're moving out of long-term growth. We're seeing some issues there. We're going to do more of a fixed position. We're going to do that. We're watching the rate increases. Mm-hmm. You have that advantage that you can talk intelligently ahead of time.
And there's something really powerful when I can see you. I could look you straight in the eye and say, hey, I'm speaking with the fund manager. This is what we're looking at in the next 6 months. This is the forecast that they're looking at. These are the changes that will be made. But in 2020, I already knew, granted, I didn't know jack about this industry, right? I always knew I had maybe $1 million at that point. Maybe by that point, maybe 2 to 3. I call the fund manager, schedule a meeting, have a half-hour conversation with them. I repeat what his strategy is supposed to do and what it didn't do. And I asked him, why didn't it do this? Accountability comes from the top. Mm-hmm. So I was able to do that, not knowing. And this fund manager, friggin' brilliant. Could have told me, dude, who are you? Shut the hell up. You've got $1 million, $3 million under manager. Why are you questioning me? Never once did he do that. You know what he did? Started breaking down what he did wrong and said, it's on me. It's my bad. That will never happen again. I've changed this, that, whatever it was. That blew me away that I could have that conversation. And he never crapped on me, never,
No, that's the power of,
Yeah, I went back to the client. She wanted to get out. She had just become a client in October. This was March, right at the beginning. She wanted to pull everything out of the market. And I was like, no, you don't want to do that. It's going to come back. This is what we're looking at. It's the V shape. And I was just repeating what I was learning. She didn't. She's like, okay, I'm going to trust you. I'm going to leave it there. Lady's like 70. She was like 70 years old at the time, retired, only one account, not a whole lot of money in it. 5 years later, she's still with me now. She had a conservative risk profile. As we've gone over time doing reviews and teaching her and giving her explanations, her portfolio risk tolerance has gone up to a moderate just because she feels comfortable with what she's learned. And every year she has, accounts that she saves and she's like, I got another 20, 30 grand. Can I put this over here? Can I do this? And it's awesome to look back. I wouldn't have known how to deal with that if I would have been at the previous RIA. The ability to be able to talk to the fund manager not only holds them accountable to us as advisors, but I can't pay for that education that I'm going to have a half hour one-on-one with somebody.
Here's a guy, I know the manager. I mean, he's got a Wharton MBA and he's a CFA. And he's a brilliant guy, and he's one of us. He's a great guy to talk to. He's a wealth of knowledge, and he's accountable. He owns everything.
Yeah.
And all of our managers do that, or they won't be on the platform. And we have over, as you know, 60 portfolios to pick from. We got a little bit of everything. And
So-
if people aren't doing their job, we fire them.
So
we fire the investment manager.
Yeah, I have a question for you because I've only been at 2 RIAs, right? The first one didn't have that. Is that normal in the industry, man?
I don't think it is. I don't think it is. I think a lot of things are either done from a central management committee and everyone gets the same type of investment, or it's all third party and they don't have the accountability. And I learned this at Fidelity years ago. They had these, I don't go to them anymore, but they had these leadership conferences, and they were talking about sales enablement. And I hate the term enablement. I just hate it. But really what it was is building a back room for an advisor with our culture, right?
Mm-hmm.
With our organization, that the advisor, we're doing all of the stuff to help the advisor and prop the advisor up and make the advisor stronger and bigger and better. And I really embrace that term because that's the ultimate team, right?
Yep.
You can be the quarterback. I'll be your offensive lineman, man. But I just want to win championships. Yep. And if I need to kick the extra point, I'll kick the extra point. If I need to bring the water to the team, I'm bringing the water. I just want to win. Mm-hmm. And this business is so complex and so vast and so detailed and comprehensive. I mean, whatever word you want to use, that you can't master it all. You're a fool to think you've mastered it all. So that's why we have all the communication we have, the weekly calls, the monthly calls, the fact sheets get sent out. We still do paper fact sheets and they come out every quarter, right? We're all GIPS verified. We do all of that stuff. And it's simply because of the simple fact that you need that. When there's a lion's share of news to know out, those are your talking points. You can get on the phone with a client and say, listen, this is what we just saw. Boom, 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 boom.
Yep. Yeah. And that's huge for our business. I mean, I think I've only lost like 3 clients up until, and one of them, the wife died. She was the main client. The other one moved to Idaho, so out of state. And then the third one, they just chose to go somewhere else. But yeah, that availability from the fund managers, besides the accountability, it's such a huge learning. You shorten the learning curve by years.
You also invite clients to our economic updates, right? Yep. So we'll have a manager that'll do a Zoom right directly to the clients, and they can ask questions.
Yep.
How powerful is that? It's like you invite them and say, hey, listen, here's a link. This is going to be the money manager. They're going to be talking about X. Boom. Tune in if you want to.
Yeah. Even during my client appreciation dinners, I've had fund managers come in just for our dinner to our clients specifically and jump on a Zoom call for, 20 minutes and talk about what they see, the past, what's moving forward, all of those value adds. Where are we going to get that if I was to go to any other shop to actually get the fund manager to do a Zoom call? Yeah. I'll take it a step further.
Unless you have billions of dollars.
Exactly. And I'll take it a step further. So they're East Coast time. I'm West Coast time. My dinners are at, let's say 6:30. That's pushing 10 o'clock, man. They still get on the Zoom call.
Yeah, they gripe about me privately, but I don't care.
I
don't care.
When I say how grateful I am to be a part of Regal, those are the things that I don't hear anybody talking about that stuff, that they have it wherever they're at. So other advisors.
Why do you think advisors fail? What's the number one cause, you think? What do you see from our contemporaries? I mean, where you're located, you can go walk at your front door, throw a rock, and you can probably hit an advisor. Maybe a 9-iron.
I'm trying to think what would be, just not asking for help, man, and just not following the help. There's so many. I mean, it could be bookkeeping. It could be compliance. It could be lack of marketing. There's so many different things. But ultimately, I think it comes down to, are you asking for help and following the advice, Because it's overwhelming. I know for me it was to think of all of those things and try to fix them all in 1 year. It wasn't going to work that way. It's just too much. So start targeting what's most important and then having an annual follow up. Okay, what did we do good this year? What did we fail on? How are we going to improve next year? And have part of that accountability where, I'm fortunate that I have our advisor advocate that has a file of what I've been wanting to do, the growth, where the client's coming from. We go over all of that stuff. And so 6 years, starting my 6th year, it's slowed down. But you have a saying also, which I've repeated to other advisors. It's a get rich slow deal.
Yeah, it's a get rich slow scheme.
And it's over the first 5 years, you're busting your butt.
You're underpaid. It's the worst career. The first 5 years, you're just underpaid, and then after that, it's you hit a tipping point, right? And then once you hit that tipping point, it's a beautiful life. It really is, and it's as Kevin and I have said, the first part of your career is about income, and the second part's about impact.
And that's
you
where
can start changing not only the people you love around you, but what you can provide, but you can go deeper and help clients more because you have the confidence to go deeper with them, right? Because we're part bartender, psychologist, portfolio man. I mean,
hairdressers,
well, they didn't do well with us.
Yeah.
So I'm sure people are going to make some comments about you and I both in our haircuts.
Yep.
They're just jealous. So why is mentoring important to you? Because I think everybody thinks that mentoring is a formal engagement that we sign a form and we push it over the table and we do a blood oath or something. I don't know. But they think it's a much more formal process. Why do you embrace it so much? And why do you think mentorships are so misunderstood?
I think I embrace it just looking back. I know we were talking off camera, you go back in your history, any of us, and this is what I tell my daughter who's a teacher. There are teachers that you will remember the rest of your life. I'm 53. I can remember impactful teachers, the ones who really mattered. I can also remember the shitty teachers. So I don't remember the ones who were just in the middle, but I remember the really good ones and the really shitty ones. The really good ones.
It's funny. The teachers remember the really good students and the shitty ones. They never.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
So I'm hoping they remember me.
I said that for my mom, who was a teacher for 34 years. She goes, "Yeah, I remember the bad kids, and then the really good ones." She goes, "All the ones in between, I don't remember."
And so when you think about that, or coaches in sports, I had a Little League coach when I was 10. He was just from the hood, man. He was old school and toughened me up. And so I look back at those lessons you carry him with throughout life. So I think it'd be very foolish for somebody to think that they can do it on their own. You've been doing this much longer than I have. You're much more successful. You've got all the track record. You've got the wins and the losses. Why would I frickin' want to spend the next 20 years figuring it out the hard way versus having somebody that I respect, that I know, that is transparent, and that doesn't just give me all the good, but actually shares the bad. And it's just that learning curve is shortened. So now that I'm in my 6th year, I'm at that point, the tipping point. I think I hit it last year where I'm comfortable. It's slowing down. Now I can offer more and we're still growing, but I'm not in a survival mode where I was in a survival mode when I first started. Then we got into COVID, which was really a survival mode and just not knowing.
Yeah.
And without the mentorship, man, it's not a one-man show ever. It shouldn't be. And if it is, you're in trouble. Same thing with the money management, the lion's share. You have to let people do what they do best. And I think the mentorship, it's just relationship building, man. It really is.
What do you expect out of a partner? So, every financial advisor, they have their own shingle out there, right? They got their own name. They're a CFP. They're in a local town. They've got a broker-dealer. They got an RIA. They've got an IMO, right? Mm-hmm. What do you expect from an IMO, broker-dealer, and RIA? Because they're directly partners with you.
Yeah. So I think just there has to be a common understanding of what each of us bring to the table and what the ultimate goal is. I think it's the character. So within Regal, there's, I don't know how many employees, but I think it starts at the top and it should, and the employees should somewhat fit in within the culture. We'll call it the culture. And that's what I found with Regal. It's very similar mindset, values, family values, right? Giving back to the community. You say it, you say this line, which I've taken, and I probably am going to botch it. Financial services. What's the key word in that?
Services.
Servicing our clients, providing a service, providing value. I say with my clients, I literally tell them, I love you guys. Like I tell them, I love you. Every time we say goodbye, every time we say hello, hey, I love you guys. And if we love the people we work with, I think that's going to show, right? And how we treat one another. Same thing with Regal. Like I know when I go to Regal's main office in Michigan, I feel at home. I truly do. I walk in with the biggest smile, hugging everybody. And because we're all in the same path, in the same direction.
Yeah.
Different, and so that's what I expect with the IMO. It's humongous, but I deal with two reps, which I've worked with for years. Same thing. I can call them on their personal cell phone. If I need something, if it's personal and it's something out, they're there for me for that. And just this high character, I think that's what I look for.
A lot of advisors just say I clear business through them. We don't have a lot of advisors that say that about us, but I've always thought about that. It's almost like, I don't know if they don't know there's more in a relationship or if they're just too vulnerable to give themselves up in a relationship like that. It's like just saying, oh, that's not the love of my life I married, right? I love Deborah and it's the best thing around. It's just like, oh, that's my wife. Yeah, she's there.
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't get it. Why would you be in a relationship that isn't fulfilling and helping you grow and everything? But a lot of our relationships in our business are very transactional.
I was about to say that, it's that old adage, how you do one thing is how you do everything. If I was to take my relationship with Regal or with any other RIA or any IMO, and it was transactional, I think that would spill into my business that would make it transactional. And I have found with my business that the more you get to know your clients, family, kids, grandkids, their goals, all of it, the good, the bad, the ugly, when you get to that level of relationship and transparency with your clients, it is not transactional. And that will allow you so much grace when things aren't as good. They know you're still looking out for them when you're proactively reaching out. Hey, how's the family doing? Hey, write the notes down. How's so-and-so? Hey, how is she in college? Yeah, she just finished.
The key word there is grace. Why do you need clients' grace? That's a pearl you snuck in there that I want to spend some time on.
Because we're not perfect.
Exactly right. We represent. I mean, our clients come to us and they think that we represent the markets, right, and that we can control them. We can make sound suggestions, right? We can give direction. We can educate, but we don't know any more than if the markets are going to go up and down. That's the only thing we know. We don't know where they're going to go, but we know they're going to go up and down. And the word grace, you earn that word. Yep. You earn that. You earn that through communication, through education, through perseverance, and doing what you say you're going to do, following your process. So when you give somebody your client process that, hey, we're in this step and we're going to go through this and we're going to keep going through this to make sure that eventually where you want to go, you're going to get there. And, I always say people, and you're probably sick of me saying this, but you need to manage the absolute return of what the client wants. The dollars and cents really don't matter as comparison to where they want to go. Some people don't want to live in their kid's basement in retirement. So they want to make sure that they have their independence, right? I'm making light of that. But how do we get there? I've never had a client come to me and say, well, their S&P account was 10 basis points higher than yours or your fees. I don't have conversations about fees. I do it in my ADV Part 2. I do it with a conversation with a client, but I don't constantly bring that up or do it because I provide so much value to them. They're not worried about cost.
Yeah.
And if they are cost worrying, right, they don't have grace.
Yep.
You haven't built up that grace. And I think that word is really powerful.
Yeah, it's, just even with the fee structure, like that's why the first appointment in the process is so important. You start to feel out, and when somebody's just focusing on price and it continually comes to price, to me, that's a red flag. So that's a hurdle. I cut the appointment. If that's all they want to focus on and that's all they care about, I cut the appointment and I'm like, you know what? We're probably not the ideal fit for one another. You're probably better off going to someone else. I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste mine.
Well, it's that old analogy. We could have all taken a bus here, right? It probably would have been the cheapest way to get here, but we didn't. and we decided to take another mode of transportation because it was more comfortable, it's more efficient, right?
Mm-hmm.
And things, the nicer it is, the more it costs, right?
Yep.
So people they need to judge what type of ride they want to get to the end goal, and they need to understand what the end goal is.
Yep.
And it's our job to keep prices and things low for the customers, right? So we can put it in their pocket. So that's what we do as a fiduciary.
Yep.
But I'm often wondered why, and I just want to get your opinion because I'm very strong-willed in those areas about what makes a great client relationship.
Yeah, it's also what I think, like with the partner relationship and the client relationship, it's very similar. Do you want people that are similar character, similar values?
I'd have to think about that. I'd have to go through the list of brokers we work with and that we have relationships with and see if our relationship with the broker is similar to the client relationship with the broker. That'd be interesting.
I think but the advisors that you like spending the most time with are definitely going to be that versus the ones that are the headaches, right?
Yeah. We have a lot of brokers and there's some that I just am more connected with because we have similar values, right? Yeah. I think that's natural. I mean, you put 100 people in the room, you find your people in the room. It doesn't mean you don't like the rest of the people in the room. It's just you're closer, right? There's people that, in our network that I've gone hunting with. We've, Kevin Burwell and I, we went to Argentina and went hunted a couple of years ago. You build strong bonds like that, having cigars and bourbons and all that stuff, and sporting events and sharing family things. We've had dinners between the wives.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if I was in Southern California, I'd go see you. I mean, we have that friendship. It's important to me, and I think it keeps me grounded, and it shows me why we built the firm. It reminds me why we built the firm.
Yeah.
Built the firm for advisors, and we're all still producing advisors that are in the management team and the leadership team. And I think that makes a difference.
I think it shows, man. I really do. Like, if now knowing what I know 6 years in, if I was to step out and look at the different firms, if I was to ever leave Regal or Regal shut down for whatever reason, and this is what I tell my clients, I'm like, if you one day decide to leave me as your advisor, I guarantee you're going to have a better conversation looking for the next advisor than you did when you originally came to me, because I've set a certain expectation level that you're used to with service, communication, transparency, all of that stuff. It's the same thing with Regal. Once you've seen that model, I can't go back to where I was at before. I would have so many questions and expectations of the next firm just based off of the experience here. It's pretty crazy to see how it is for advisors. All the resources.
So let me switch modes here real quick here. We're getting to the end of this episode. When you publicly state a goal, right, you have a 90% chance of making that goal. So what are your milestones I'm going to put you on the spot,
milestones
man.
For when?
For 2025. What are you looking to add in AUM? What are you looking to do with the business? How are you've got a solid business,
mm-hmm.
and you built this from nothing, and you've done it with hard work and effort. So you've got a business. You've got something that can stand on its own. What's the next milestone for Carlos Guzman?
So when I first started doing the business planning, I'm going to say maybe 3 years ago. Yeah, probably 3 years ago with Lee. The goal eventually is to hit 100 million. That's probably a 10-year out. And so I'm on my way. I'm learning. I'm doing different marketing. I'm going to do something different this year. I'm not going to hit a goal number for AUM or production. My goal is going to be consistency. It's taken me a while this year to start planning for the year just because of family issues at the end of the last quarter.
Well, yeah, you lost your father. We're sorry.
Yeah. So starting to think about what I want to happen this year. I'm doing new marketing, but it's going to be the activity.
That's an odd goal, and I think it's perfect for you because you've always been a pig in a python. Meaning.
Why you call me a pig, bro? Is that like a backhanded?
I'm calling you the python.
Oh, okay. I thought you were.
But the pig and the python, that old story that the python eats a pig and he's got his belly's full, right? And it's got to go through the system, right? So he doesn't eat for a while because he's still processing it. And you've always had that. You go on. You get on referral streaks. You come back from a advisor discovery or a IQL impact, and all of a sudden you've got 10 new clients.
Yep.
And then it takes a while to process them. You put away your marketing stuff, and then Lee has a conversation with you and you get it out.
Yep.
So being consistent, I think, would be really great.
I think also.
And I'm not letting you, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not letting him off the hook. I mean, I know his business.
Yeah. No, it's really the consistency and pivoting on the marketing versus doing seminars, which are really expensive. The cost of acquisition is freaking through the roof. I'm fortunate that the people that I have gotten through the seminars, I've been able to get wallet share. So I'm really good at going with the reviews, whether it's, life insurance, annuities, more AUM.
And let me break here because you said wallet share, which we're big on. We haven't done a podcast on that yet. So I'm going to briefly talk about wallet shares. So you have a household, and that household, you work with mom and dad. Eventually, over time, mom and dad, you get the kids' 529 plans, you get the other things. Statistically, there is 4.2 advisors in every household. And I know that sounds crazy, but you've got the bank, they sell financial services. You've got your home and auto guy, they sell financial services. You've got the HR guy at work who you've got a 401k or a simple plan or something. So there's another advisor. And you've got us, right? So it's easy to see four.
Real estate and mortgage.
And you might have others in there. So 4.2, I know it seems like a lot, but when you really think about it, I think that number's low. But anyways, so all of these people, that house has an economic value. All that money leaving that house for all those aforementioned services that those providers could bring. How are you going to capture that? Because if you don't capture that, somebody like Carlos is going to come in and he's going to take one part of the account, then the next part of the account, and it's a slow drip and drain. So, one of the things we talk about is having strategic partners, maybe with a P&C person, or having strategic partners with a mortgage broker, right? Your center of influences that you can build a network with and you can trust and protect your business. That's from a defensive. And then when you're really smart and move into it, it can be a referral source, right? You can be creating and generating with those individuals and they're with their clients. But wallet share is capturing all of the dollars in a household as much as possibly can. And, you talk about it. You meet with a client, you do a review, and they find another $25,000 account.
Yep.
They've got this IRA they inherited from grandma.
Yep.
I forgot about this. Or, I worked there for 6 years. I've got this little 401k. I've never done anything with it.
Yep.
And there's always, for advisors that think they have all the money, you're wrong.
Yeah.
Because 95% of it, and I'm making that number up, but a very, very high percentage, there's more money in the household.
Yeah.
So we want to keep out competitors and we want to actually control that. So that's what we talk wallet share.
Yep.
So you've been very good with wallet share.
Yep.
And very good with referrals. So the goal this year is to be consistent.
Consistent with my marketing. So getting away from the seminars just because the cost of acquisition is too high. And then being persistent with prospecting. I have an assistant now that takes a lot of the heavy lifting with the calls, the emails, the paperwork, assisting, those things that deplete my energy. That's not my favorite thing to do. I like talking to people one-on-ones. So that has opened that opportunity up. So now it's really consistency. I know there will be growth. I don't know how much. And this is one of the things that I had a hard time when I first started with the IMO and the seminars. I had the gentleman who was helping me, coaching me on presentation, always ask me after the seminar, how do you feel you did? How many people are going to come to the appointment? I'm like, I don't know. And he wanted me to tell him, like, this is how many out of 20 people you're going to get 10, or I feel like I'm going to get 10. And I told him, you know what? I just prepare and I pray before I go in and I speak and I put it in God's hands. And I do the work, but I leave the results to him. And I never could answer that question. I never wanted to. The goal is 100 million. So I'm not really focused on the long-term goal. I'm focused on becoming the advisor who can do that And I think that's the day in, day out, which I struggle with. I love spending time with my family. So sometimes when I've had a good run, I take time off, and I want to be more consistent and be able to.
And also your kids are older now too.
That's another thing which really helps. I don't have to be jumping around to practices, this, that. 2 of them are out of college. The other 2 aren't going to college. So it's just basically me and Chris, my wife. And that frees up a lot of time too. So, but that's the goal, man, is consistency.
All right, I'm going to hold you to that.
Yep.
Because I think that's real important for you. I think that's the next evolution in your business.
Yeah.
You're past the scrambling part. You've now got an established business. You've got established processes. Now it's doing it consistently and finding sort of a balance.
Yeah.
So it's not work like a madman, take a break. Work like a madman, take a break. Then we can even it out a little bit better. And it's not really work-life balance. It's not really it. No. It's the activities.
Yeah, and I think if I follow the activities that have been put before me, like this is what works. We know, because we can go on those runs and then take time off runs. But if you're steady, the outcome is going to be there.
Your quality of life is so much better.
Yeah. And realistically, right now, my quality of life is, I'll say 8 out of 10, because there's other things I can do better, but it's gotten so much better from where I was at. I didn't even know what IQL stood for. I didn't know how to express that. Now it's like quality of life. And I have that conversation with my clients where it's not about, I need 3 million, I need 2 million. No, what do you want? How do you want your quality of life to be in retirement? And then bigger picture, right? And that's
we'll have that the mission retirement book that goes through that. Check that out. You can check that out on our website, which is catalystforgrowth.org. You can get Carlos's information. We'll put it on the Catalyst for Growth website, if it's okay.
Yeah.
If advisors want to talk to Carlos, we appreciate you listening to the podcast. Each and every week, we're dropping a new episode and talking about things in the industry that matter, things that can help people grow. Each and every episode is showcasing talented people like Carlos or people that I've run across in my career and have helped me and we've built a relationship with. So again, we appreciate you listening. Thank you for this episode. Tune in next week. This is John Kailunas II, out.
Hey, thank you for your time today. We will have another content-packed session posted next week. Please check our website, catalystforgrowth.org, for our legal disclosures on the bottom of our homepage, if you're into that sort of thing.